Hey YouTube, it's Michael Gallagher here, the Media Preacher. Sorry it's been a few weeks since I finished uploading all the songs from my first album, The Boy Doesn't Learn. Please check it out in the playlist if you haven't already had a check of it. I just thought I'd take a little bit of a break, a little bit of a breather and sort of catch my breath because it was quite a big project. But I wanted to come back because I've been thinking about doing a series of videos that relates to collaboration with other artists, because I think collaboration is key. I think it's one of the ways that you can develop as a musician and an artist faster than any other way, and it's the way I think that I have developed massively over the last sort of decade or so. I'll tell you a little story. When I was sort of first starting out as a musician, I wrote to one of my idols, a guy called Liberty DeVito, who was the drummer for Billy Joel, and I told him I was a huge fan and I was a songwriter and did he have any tips for me. And he really kindly wrote back to me. He wrote me a long email, and part of the email that he wrote to me said that he was in a band called Topper, and that Topper effectively became Billy Joel's band when he first started out. As a solo artist, the best thing I could do would be to find other musicians in my area and to collaborate with them. Now, I took this amazing advice and I completely disregarded it, because I then went off on my own tangent, started to try and record some stuff myself, but try and be a jack of all trades, master of none. And I ended up recording a demo that really wasn't very good. And it wasn't good because I didn't collaborate and I didn't grow as a musician from collaborating with other musicians. So fast forward about sort of 10 years or so after that, and a friend of mine, Andrew, says, I've written some songs with this other guy called Andy Beglin, who I knew from where I'd grown up. And he said, we've written these songs together, we want to record them. And at the time I was getting into software, into recording software. And so I said to the guys, come down to my house and I'll see if I can record some of the tunes that you've written. That naturally then progressed into me recording and playing on some of the songs that these two guys had written as well. That experience was second to none, absolutely fantastic for me as a musician, because when I started to collaborate with the two Andys, they were both bringing ideas to the table that frankly I would never have thought of. So at the end of this video I'm going to upload one of the songs that we recorded together as a little duo, just to give you a flavour of what I'm talking about, because when you hear this song that I'm going to upload, you'll realise that it's nothing like the songs that I have uploaded as a solo artist myself, because they were coming to the table with ideas that I just wouldn't have come up with rhythms and lyrical ideas that I probably wouldn't have come up with ever on my own. And so to have them bring those to the table, and then for me to then add some of my own unique sort of playing style into that mix, made something that was unique. And I think we all fed off each other and we all grew from each other. So my top tip to any aspiring musician, no matter what age you are, but particularly if you're young, is go out, find other musicians, work with them, collaborate with them. It doesn't matter their level of proficiency in relation to yours. They might be much better than you. That's really, really good, because they can show you things that you perhaps wouldn't know yourself, and that will develop you. But also people that perhaps aren't as technically proficient, because they're going to come to the table with their own ideas as well. And some of those ideas are going to be really interesting, and you're going to then absorb that information and develop it into your own playing and your own songwriting style. Really good example of this is we recorded as a three-piece in my garage in my old house, and I had microphones and everyone, and we were kind of looking, and we were sort of sitting staring at each other and playing live in the room together in the garage. And Andy Beglin suddenly produces this kazoo. I'm like, what the hell is he going to do with the kazoo? So we're playing along and suddenly he starts blowing on the kazoo. Something I never would have thought of. I thought, this is never going to work, this is going to be a train wreck, it's going to be awful. I would have disregarded it immediately. But then when I played the track back and when the track was mixed, the kazoo really worked. And it added something to the track that just was not there, and I never would have thought to add. Lots of ideas like that. My other friend Andy would come to the table with, let's use this sound effect here. Let's say you had done a song and he had Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, the film with Bob Dylan. Said, I want this song to start with like a clip from that film, and that will then introduce the song. Again, something I never would have thought to do. But then on the song that I recorded, Industry, I thought back to that. And I then wanted, well, let's get some clips of Margaret Thatcher talking, because I was talking about industry and the fall of industry basically in the 1980s, and I thought this would be really, really good in that song. But that idea came from my collaboration with the two Andys. As an aspiring musician, meet other musicians, play with them, work with them, and be open and receptive to their ideas. Now, there are a couple of obvious ways that I think you can collaborate with other musicians. The first is to actually meet them, and the situation that effectively I'm talking about in this scenario is to meet them and to sit in a room together and to have a song idea and for everyone to give some input into that song idea. That's the most obvious way, and that's really, really, really beneficial. As I say, you'll come up with ideas and strategies that you just won't think about. Go out and find musicians, go out to open night mics, go out to music evenings at different venues and introduce yourself to people and become part of that community, and you will. If you don't have an opportunity to do that, then my best advice is to collaborate virtually with people. And I actually do this as well with my friends. So sometimes, we'll have ideas that we've recorded together in a room, but at other times we'll pass ideas backwards and forwards virtually via emails, and things will be added to songs. But virtual collaboration might be with people that you don't even know. So you might go on to, there's a website called Fiverr. You might go on to Fiverr. You might say, I want a drummer on this particular song. And you find a drummer who will do a drum track for you, and you send them your tracks, and then they will put a drum track. And I've done that before. And that's a really good way to collaborate with people. Another way to collaborate with people is to use, people sometimes on YouTube do loops. So like drummers, for instance, or bassists, they do loops at certain metronome speeds and in certain keys. So you can then use that as the basis of your song. And that is effectively collaboration, because you're coming up with something that you wouldn't think about because you've got this amazing loop that you found on YouTube, or this amazing bass run that you found on YouTube. Or you might hear that sort of rhythm and then come up with something on the guitar or on the piano yourself that you frankly wouldn't have thought about without that loop having inspired you. And I've done that a few times as well. The other way, of course, if you want to work with a musician and you're recording your own music, it's another way I sometimes work, is to record the basic track, say with the piano and the vocal to a click, and then to get together with, say, a drummer, a musician that you know and you really respect, and you can concentrate then on recording their part, and you can discuss with them what you want. They can then give you ideas as an experienced musician, as an experienced drummer. Actually, this rhythm's going to work better here, or I think I should hold back a little bit behind the beat here. That feels good here. They will give you ideas that you just wouldn't think about, and you can work with them, and you can really concentrate if you've all pre-recorded your part with them, and with getting their part 100% right, and in learning from them. And in doing that, of course, you then become a better musician because you come up with different rhythms yourself. If you're then using like the drum machine in Logic or whatever, you can start saying, well, actually, I remember there was a certain beat or a certain speed that really worked, and you might bring the knowledge that you're learning from actually collaborating with another human being to that process of sitting and producing yourself in an isolated environment. It will make you a better musician, I promise. So anyway, to give you a little example of what I'm talking about, I don't have any video of this because it was recorded about 10 years ago, but I do have a recording with my two friends Andy and Andy. Hope you enjoy it, and you'll hear that it's very different from anything that I've come up with myself, and it's very different because I've got input from two other human beings who have brought their own ideas and their own influences to the table, which really enriches the whole process. So I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you think that collaboration is an important thing. Let me know how you collaborate with people, and if you've had any other ideas for collaboration in addition to the ones perhaps that I've not mentioned. So look forward to seeing you again soon. This is Michael Gallagher, the Media Preacher, signing off.
Sam broke his jaw, chewing on what she said, how she didn't love him, how she wished him dead. Sam got his coat on, headed into the night, looking for a little something to make him feel alright. Whoa, going down too fast. Whoa, just forget the past. He took left at Union, down in Charlotte Square, but inside that alleyway he knew what he'd find there. He passed her $2, she laid out a man. She gave him the hookup vibe as he gave her his hand. Whoa, going down too fast. Whoa, just forget the past. Traffic sailed slowly, watched the smoke rose, found a little tingle from his head down to his toes. Everything she said slowly faded away. Things were looking bright